J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission is same. I made a splash, now all of my passes last like running a race with Usain. I keep it coming like this is buffet. And if I'm stumbling, I'm in the graves. Never gon' fumble it, I get the bag and I run with it. Gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it. Murray with the legs, all about finesse, I am not impressed. I don't need a rash coming in with blast, then you see the flash. Elohim with the melody and they can supply the breath. 70, keep it heavenly, everybody get the bread. I got the bread and I got the juice.
Hello, welcome back. What episode are we on? 4. That's right, dude. You know, I learned something that in the first 3 to 4 seconds, if you're not interested in this, you'll turn this off. Don't touch that dial. If you watch the intro to the video, you already know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Skinwalkers. What? Yeah, bro. Skinwalkers. And my lovely wife got me this book today. A History of Ghosts, Spirits, and the Supernatural. Dude, this book is next generation, dude. Way better than the internet. You know, who would have thought a book was cool? Anywho, if you see behind me, I still have my special guest. Jameson's not here today. That's probably for the best. But Harry, what's Harry got there in his hands? He's got an EMF detector. If you see off to his left or right, or the other way around, however you see it, it's a little ball. And if that thing starts glowing up, something moved it. So we're doing a little experiment and throwback to one of my favorite movies, Rad. Check it out. If you're a 90s, 80s, 90s kid, you know what I'm talking about. Anywho, welcome in the Quest for Valhalla Paranormal Podcast, Episode 4. Here we go. We're going to start it off with Shapeshifters and Skinwalkers. Bro, to be honest with you, the thought of, well, in my religion, my faith, spirituality, whatever the hell you want to call it, the gods are able to shapeshift. Shapeshift is what I was going to say. So they can take on the form of trees, rocks, animals, other people. You know, there's a story of Loki. I mean, that's how he was able to steal one of Siv's hair, golden hair. He shapeshifted. And he also shapeshifted and tried to trick in the video game, right? Assassin's Creed. Loki shapeshifted to trick one of the dwarves into building something for him. I'll build it if you let me, because he was in love with Freya. I don't know how accurate that story is, but still a good one. So, Skinwalkers has a deep tie into Indigenous American spirituality, right? And there have been, I mean, people think anything's a skinwalker nowadays. If their dog acts weird or, I don't know, man, anything. But I've seen some videos where you're like, whoa, what the hell is that? You know, but at the same time, videos aren't 100% reliable. And then again, it's like, oh, if you're see, I'm too skeptic. That's why I do this. It's because I've got to experience it for myself to believe. Seeing is believing, right? Doubting Thomas. I just got a really weird feeling. Anyway, I don't know if I like this experiment, but if there's anything in here with us, feel free to go near that green light. It'll let me know you're there, and then you see a little ball there. If you move it, it'll light up for you. So do it. I appreciate all the love y'all are giving me on these podcasts. It's a lot of fun to do them, and it fills in the gaps from times when I could get out and film. So much appreciated. Much love. So let's kick off these shape-shifting skinwalkers. You know, the folklore, they're Native American demons. What are they? Let's dive into this history book right here, man. Our history comes alive, right? So it says ghosts and monsters remain central to Indigenous American culture in the 21st century. Through strong oral storytelling traditions, ghost stories and sacred legends maintain important boundaries between life and death, nature and culture, humans and other than humans. For some, the presence of such supernatural beings is unsettling, while for others, they provide spiritual power that may be used to help or to harm. Think of like voodoo, man, right? I don't know. You know, it walks that kind of power walks that line between, you know, kind of placebo and psychosomatic, right? Like somebody said something and they put a curse on me, but are these things happening because I'm letting them happen to me, or is it a coincidence? You know, there's always these fine lines that you walk. You know, it reminds me of the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey. Hilarious. You know, you have to say yes to everything, and when he didn't, the covenant, it's really here. It's really getting to me, man. So it's like one of those things. Is that him just doing it to himself? Which we find out it was. Or is it supernatural? So let's dive a little deeper, shall we? And they have some really cool artwork here. I can't really show you. You should definitely go pick out this book if you're into this stuff. If not, just listen along and play along. The question of what happens after death is a long-standing preoccupation, right? It's a fear. Everybody fears it, man. Death and taxes, right? When families bury their dead, they provide ritual offerings of clothing, food, water, the things that they loved, things that they think they'll need on their journey to the next life, so on and so forth. The goal is to let go with compassion and safely manage the boundary between life and death. Indigenous American ghost stories reflect their human desire to reckon with the unknown. In many tales, ghosts appear when people violate taboos, for example, by wearing a deceased person's clothing or disturbing their burial place. That is true. And I'm not going to do the spit counter. That is super interesting because, you know, we have it ingrained in us that, you know, there's something special about natives and their burial grounds, and, you know, you could become cursed if you mess with it. And it is so true to this day, to where, you know, like I said, growing up right next door to one, like I was a kid and I wasn't into this stuff yet, and yet I still had those fears because they were told to me from others. So it's like when does myth become truth and vice versa? You want to say since human remains in graves are dangerous and can pollute the spirit of the living, transgressions can lead to ghost sickness, a condition that includes recurring nightmares, fearful feelings, weight loss, and general weakness. So, just described anxiety, depression, and everything associated with that. So yes, I agree. And then let's get into shape-shifting, because that's my favorite, dude. Shapeshift, the ability to transform from human to animal or bird, makes shapeshifters especially uncanny. In Dine beliefs, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, from the U.S. Southwest, so probably like Southern California, Arizona, parts of Mexico, witches are thought to use human remains to transform themselves into skinwalkers, particularly sinister shapeshifter. In their animal form, skinwalkers attack and even kill victims. The Lakota people of the Great Plains and Black Hills, right, the Dakotas, tell stories of those who stop to assist a young woman alone on the road, only to discover that she is no ordinary person. People who encounter this quote-unquote deer woman describe her as human, but with deer haunches and cloven hooves. To those who respect women and children, she offers fertility and well-being. For those who do not, she inflicts a vengeful death. Whoa. That's hardcore. So it reminds me of the, that was me opening my soda. I don't know if I can say the name, but you know what it is, and it's good. It reminds me of the first episode of Supernatural when they chase after the woman in white. You know, she's killing men that are unfaithful, and she couldn't kill men that were faithful. So it reminds me of that. But that'd be interesting because I wonder if they take on a form of an animal that would gain interest from the person that they're trying to judge, in a sense, right? So they're, I don't know, a bad man. Should they find that this bad man likes to deer hunt, so they become a perfect buck, and then as he goes to, he's driving by, he lives in Redneckville, like I wish I lived in. And he stopped, I got my gun on me, I'm going to shoot this deer. And it turns out it's a skinwalker, right? Lured him in. Or he shot, he thought he hit it, and runs off into the woods, he chases it, and then boom. Attack of the skinwalker. That's all hypothetical and definitely not supported by any kind of science or logic. Real logic. So, there's also wild men and Wendigos. Wild men is interesting because you think of, like, if you played Red Dead Redemption 2 and you're towards the end of the game, if you haven't played it by now, oh well, I'm spoiling it. You encounter the feral man, and he's like the alpha male of the fucking wolf pack, right? He's the leader of the wolf pack, and you have an option to kill him or save him, but it's like, I don't remember what I did every time. I think I fucking killed him. Which is dumb, because you just hog tie him. And you still get the reward, but I think the first playthrough I killed him, because I was like, he's attacking me. Fuck him. But anyways, like that, you know. Wild men, let's see what they say. In indigenous tales, monsters like ice-hearted Wendigos and wild, quote-unquote, wild men lurk on the fringes of human life, where nature meets culture. Wild men are ghostly figures in the beliefs the... fuck, dude. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. Kawakawakas? Dude, I don't want to be disrespectful, but these people of British Columbia. Okay, so way up north. These howling, foul-smelling creatures peer into windows, steal food, sometimes kidnap people, especially women and children. They tempt humans to eat, quote-unquote, ghost food, empty cockle shells. The fuck? I'm gonna have to Google that shit. So that they too will become spirits. Described as giant bipeds, so that is someone walking on two legs, with large mouths and covered in dark, tangled hair. They are shy but dangerous. Well, they're giants in a sense. The native culture and also native, like Norse and pre-Christian Europe kind of believed in similar things. They were obviously called different things, and they were described as a lot larger in Europe. But I mean, who knows? Maybe when Eric the Red came to and proclaimed what is now Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, he declaimed it Vinland. Maybe, you know, the year 1000 or some shit, long before Columbus. Maybe they somehow were able to swap stories about this, about their versions of Bigfoot and fucking Yetis and these, because they lived in colder climates, right? It's cold as shit in Canada and Greenland and Iceland. So who knows? Maybe they swapped ghost stories. Checking on it, man. Harry's gonna fuck with me. I already know it. Foul smelling is interesting too, because I watched a video where this couple was walking in some woods and back east. I forgot what state it was, but they encountered something that peeked at them, and they're like, "Oh shit!" It scared the shit out of them. But when they went over to investigate the area that it was standing behind this tree that it peeked out from, it like they remember a horrible smell. But also to keep in mind that fucking black bears, if you have black bears around, they're trash bears, man. All they eat is our trash, and so they can smell like a fucking trash can. Keep that in mind too. I don't recommend going looking for skinwalkers or wendigos, but if you come across one, if one finds you, don't rule out the possibility of it being a fucking deranged black bear that's hungry and it's been living in trash cans. Let me try to find where I was. Okay. The ghost food. That is interesting. If treated with respect, wild men might bestow humans with spiritual power. Wendigos differ because they once were humans. Okay. All right. They became malevolent monsters through acts of selfishness and greed, especially towards their kin. I guess that would be the hope, right? You have a shitty dad or mom or whatever, you'd hope they'd turn into, live the rest of their eternity like this. Wendigos are found in the beliefs of, dude, I can't pronounce these. I'm not gonna try. Oh, okay. Wendigos are associated with winter, colder climates, and famine. Okay, yeah. According to legends, people who committed cannibalism to avoid starvation might transform into a Wendigo, cursed to feed on humans but never feel satisfied. So it's like first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, you know? Hunger that you can never satisfy, thirst you can never quench, that kind of shit. You know, oh shit, that hurt a lot. Remember when I was saying I'm gonna do getting hairy back there, I'm gonna go to the Donner Summit where they supposedly had to eat each other, right? Well, cannibalism was suspected, never proven, but through personal accounts it's been documented at least. That would be the perfect place for a Wendigo, because cold climate, super cold up there. I mean, in the summer it gets maybe like, in the hottest part down here in the valley, up there it's maybe like 80 degrees. It's really nice. But in the wintertime it gets fucking cold up there. So I should definitely be on the lookout for something like that when I investigate that area. Something off in the distance that's shy but wants my attention, that looks humanoid. Biped, walks on two legs. I'm excited now. Hunting charm. People of Alaska fasten ivory, sea otter amulets. This one inside their kayaks when hunting. According to their beliefs, the sea otter was once human. Wow, that's beautiful, actually. Dude, this is crazy. Don't tell me that was all about skinwalkers. Damn it. It was. I have another book, though. Let's see, this one. I thought it was longer. You'll have to forgive me. This book, Spooky Trails and Tall Tales, California. Hiking the Gold State's Legends, Hauntings, and History by Tom Ogden. Hey, check it out. Let's see if they talk about any Skinwalkers accounts here. They got Bigfoot. Can't be complete without Bigfoot. Natural wonders, big indigenous spirits, the Watchers. That's another one, dude. I'm totally unprepared for this part. I thought that was gonna go longer. The Witch's Lair. Oh, I want to know about that, dude. Haunted Forest. Ghosts of Griffith Park. Most of this is in Los Angeles, which makes sense, actually. The end. Elfin entities. Oh, we should. Okay, indigenous spirits. Let's start with that. Hurry up now, Mr. Breakfast. Okay. Picture a giant redwood, single tree, 350 feet tall and 20 feet in diameter. If you haven't seen the redwoods, dude, it's majestic. It's like you went back to the time of the dinosaurs, man. It's insane. Prior to 1850, these magnificent redwoods, the tallest trees on Earth, covered 20 million acres in the Northern California coast. Today, less than 10% of these trees' growth mammoths still exist. Yeah, it's pretty sad. But we've done a great job stopping it. But they take centuries to grow. Listen to this. No matter where you encounter the redwoods, it's impossible to view them without feeling a sense of awe and even reverence. As your eyes strain to follow the monumental trunks upward, it's easy to imagine the trees reaching all the way to the heavens. The Yurok, along with other Native American tribes, consider all of these redwoods to be sacred, and they believe the trees contain living spirits. It was thought that the entity remained in the wood even after the tree was felled. As a result, redwoods were only cut for the most important purpose, such as building shelter. Those who used the wood to carve canoes always left a small wood knob on the bottom of the dugout, so that the tree's spirit had a place to reside. It is feared that without the protective spirit on board, an evil force could seize the canoe and its occupants. That's pretty amazing. So yeah, I thought I would have more to talk about with the Skinwalkers. But let's see. Let's continue on in this book. See if it ties in. Guardians and guides. Ooh, spirit animals. Yeah, dude. Indigenous spirit animals and totems. So it kind of ties into that. Among North America's indigenous peoples, there is a common awareness of the mystery and power of plants and animals. They appear in meals as guardian spirits in dreams and visions, and in stories, songs, and dance. The relationship between humans and other than humans is one of mutual respect and I can't even talk. I'm going to skip that. I don't want to sound uneducated. Hunters, for example, may offer prayers and water to the spirit of the animal they have killed to thank them for their sacrifice. Animals, trees, and plants are cherished for their ability to provide sustenance, warmth, medicines, clothing, and transportation for their human relations. That's what it's about right there. That's insanely awesome. And it's sad because we've gone so far away from that. You know, when I had my spiritual awakening, I called it, it'd be the same as when somebody said they found Christ. Because that never happened for me, and I applaud anybody that it does happen for, because it's a beautiful thing when you find your faith. When I had my spiritual awakening, 2017, I felt myself more in tune with nature, with animals. Before that, I was a hunter. I wanted to go shoot things and put it on my wall. And after I had that awakening, I just can't, man. And I'm disgusted by people that do it for fun, for sport. Now, I understand having to do it to sustain yourself, right? To live. If you have to live off the land, that's one thing. But do you have, in this day and age in America, do we have to? Do we have to go hunt and kill deer? No, we don't. I'm not judging people that do, trust me. It's just my personal thing. I might sound like whatever. Call me a pussy or a hippie or a liberal. I've been called that before. That's funny. I'm not even Republican. But I just found a new respect for the animals, and the gods have always showed me that, I mean, they are there to serve a purpose, just like we are. And it's just how we don't have a right to go and murder another person. Why should I murder a wild animal? But then you get super philosophical and you're like, oh, well, don't you eat beef and eat eggs and chicken and turkey and all this shit? And yeah, I do. You know, I didn't go crazy and go vegan. It's a fine line we walk, you know. When I go spend time out in the woods and I actually almost hit a deer. I hit a buck the other day. It was a little guy, dude, young buck. And I was like, he just stepped out in the road. I was doing like 60 in my truck, and it didn't flash, did it? That might have been me. No, okay. I was doing like 60, and there would have been no way I could have stopped. But luckily he turned around and ran the other way he came. I would have felt like shit if I had hit him. I don't think that there's a necessity to go out and go on these safaris and hunt some of the world's oldest lions and hunt elephant. And like, if you were going to starve to death and you needed to feed your family or whatever, and the only option was to kill a fucking elephant, I get it. That's different. But now, like, especially Americans, us going over, that's why everyone hates us, man. We just go and we fucking shoot everything and throw it on the wall. I guess I'm just a respectful hillbilly. Connection with nature. You can ask my friend Rebel. He's such a pansy, but that's okay. I still love him anyways. But every morning I go out and I feed crows and squirrels, and now they come looking for me, and it's pretty cool to feel that, you know. Like, some people hunt crow, and they're sacred in my religion because they're the eyes and the ears of the gods, and at least Odin. And so it's disrespectful to kill a crow in my book. But in a lot of other religions and spiritualities, crows symbolize bad things. Like for me, coyotes, like the one I filmed when I went to that Prospector's Road that just ran across me, that's normally a bad omen. Which, let's talk about omens. Why not, right? It's typically a bad omen to have a coyote cross your path. Something bad is going to happen. And it happened twice. Once when I was driving And the other time when I was filming. Fortunately, nothing bad has happened. Knock on my hollow head. But where the hell... Okay, introduction. This book is so rad, dude. I really... Oh, dude. Okay. You know, since they say skinwalkers are witches, right? Basically. Forget what I was just talking about. I don't even remember now. Let's go to spell books for summoning. Why not, dude? Y'all are going to be like, you're playing with fire. Maybe so. 156. Spell books for summoning. Wow. Of course, it's some wizard-looking guy summoning a demon. Doesn't sound smart. Let's see what it talks about. Popular since the Middle Ages. Grimoires and spellbooks. Hopefully I said that right. Continued to circulate in the 16th century. Albeit mostly in manuscript form, since strict censorship usually prevented the printing of magical books. Yeah. Things were heavily... You know, if you research, minus Greek mythology, because we have a lot of information on that, it was preserved, which is beautiful. And if you ever get a chance, a lot of it makes so much sense. But Norse beliefs and mythology and paganism, heathenism, whatever you want to call it, label it yourself, a lot of it after so long of fighting against the Christian faiths in the English lands, you know, the Anglo-Saxons and the Welsh and all the, you know, the Vikings, they came and they tried to conquer. And when they finally took back their land from the raiders, and the settlers, they had established Danelaw settlements, like where my actual blood ancestry lists is Donegal in Ireland, and that was a Danelaw settlement in the early 900s. So it was completely Norse. Everything was, you know, it was ruled under the way they would in Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, right? Scandinavia. And then as they lost, but some of the people stayed, and part of it was they had to convert to Christianity. And unfortunately, during that time, and then later during the Crusades, a lot of really important historical documents that referred to the religion were either destroyed or lost, and everything converted over to Christianity. And so a lot of the stuff that they've pieced together are from rune stones, and Snorri Sturluson from Iceland in the 13th century tried to, but he was Christian himself, so he when he wrote the poetic Edda, it was from the lens of Christianity, right? So it's the closest thing we have to any kind of scripture, or, you know, so everything about paganism is really just individually based, right? I mean, there There's a dedicated church in Iceland called Asatru, and that translates to belief in the gods. They're more regimented, but you can't join unless you are a natural citizen of Iceland. So I have DNA from there, but not. I couldn't pass as an Icelander. Definitely not. So that's really, it's personal. It's a personal journey to find what you believe is true. And in paganism, even in Druidism, and I can understand why, and that's where we get a lot of our folklore and our urban legends, is from the encounters of the Christian folks, the different types of Christianity that were encountering people that were still pagan at the time, and their customs and traditions that they viewed as witchcraft and demonic. Druidism in Ireland, when St. Patrick's Day, when he drove the snakes from Ireland, that was referring to the Druids, and they called them snakes, like serpents, like demons, like devils. Now, if you think that St. Patrick's Day is all about just wearing green and getting drunk, it's probably a good way that you celebrate it that way, because its true history is about murdering pagans for not wanting to convert. So if you don't believe me, I don't really care. I don't give a shit. That's what happened. So no other way to label it. Anyway, so as this all ties together, I'm going to try to weave it together and make it work. I can understand how skinwalkers and can translate from folklore, from urban legends, from ghost stories into reality, because if they were human at one point, they're not. It's not a demonic entity, right? If they're humanoids at some point, it could be a man-made curse, if you believe it. It's hard to, I guess I struggle too, because it's like, it doesn't make sense. If someone has the power to shapeshift, like, shouldn't we have definitively seen it? But then again, if it's really able to shapeshift, then how do we know that something ordinary that we're with all the time isn't one? So if you think your little Pomeranian is a fucking, or that one person who thought their poodle was a skinwalker because it can walks on, they taught it how to fucking walk around and shit. I mean, I'd treat it really nice if it is a skinwalker. Some of that shit just gets out of control, man. Just calm down. God. But back to spell books. Spell books are important too, because in some of the stories from Scandinavia and Germanic Europe and even Eastern about the gods and their powers and rune power, there are magical spells that are associated with that, and maybe they do have the power to summon things from hell, who is a goddess, right? Does that make sense? That Christianity is called hell, but there's a goddess named Hel? I don't know. She rules the underworld, right? Hades, he rules the underworld, the king of the dead. For real though, if you want things to click in your head, watch It's on Amazon. Watch a documentary. It's animated, so it's really cool. But watch it, and it's about Greek mythology and how it spread to Egypt, and how like the gods sent other gods to spread it to India. And dude, just watch it. It's mind blowing. All right, spell books for summoning. Yeah. I cannot fucking see this because I'm blinded by that light. A spell for everything. Medieval grimoires? I think I'm saying that right. Sounds right. Including... I don't fucking know. That looks Italian. Key of Solomon. It's translated into that. Were reproduced in early modern periods. Other grimoires were more haphazard compilations of spells used by a working magician, such as the English Book of Magic, with instructions for invoking spirits, etc. Now held in the Folger Shakespeare Library. Wow. The Black Books of Scandinavia. What did I say? The power of the runes. These offer spells for finding lost objects, compelling or retaining a person's love spells, finding treasure, pirates, and even harming enemies. Holy fuck. It's voodoo, bro. They were birthplace of voodoo. Demonic covenants. The influence. Keep an eye on that for me, okay? The influence of Renaissance magic and Christian versions of the Kabbalah? Kabbalah? Yeah. Kabbalah? Kabbalah? Kamala. Is evident in early modern grimoires, including instructions for making astrological talismans and ascribing special magical power to Hebrew names. Some focused on only one kind of magic, such as 17th century German. Not even going to try that one. Which focus on treasure hunting. Oh, dude! So it's like Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Lost Ark. Yeah, the Lost Ark. Did you remember that one? I'm showing my age here. That one scared the shit out of me when I was a kid because I was like, like they opened the Ark in the Covenant box. And all these horribly graphic spirits came out and killed a bunch of people. But makes sense, right? Watch it. Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark. Yeah. While some grimoires encourage a covenant with the devil, some stopped short of summoning him, preferring to invoke junior demons. Grimoires presented the practice of demonstration of the magician's holiness and power over spirits, rather than as a pact with the devil. This made it easier for magicians to square their acts of magic with the Christian faith, although church authorities regarded all grimoires as equally forbidden. Well, if you forbid it, then you probably believe that it's true, right? If it's forbidden, then it has to be true. So why else forbid it? Hunting for treasure has long been part of magic, and in an age before metal detectors, magic was often a treasure hunter's only hope for deciding where to dig. Spirits were believed to guard treasure, but could also be persuaded to reveal its location. Ew. Alright. Moving on from that. There are a lot of cool spell books in here. Guiding Hand. It's creepy as fuck. Sucks about. Dude, this book is just phenomenal, man. If you dive deep into Greek mythology as well, you would believe that skinwalkers are actually demigods because they sound a lot like them. There's a story, I forgot all the names, and it's just briefly, because I'm tangible, and I don't script this show, I don't plan ahead, obviously. But there was an instance where a demigod fell in love with a man that was a hunter by trade or something like that, and then he killed the demigod's most beautiful creation. It was like a buck or something, just a beautiful deer, and it destroyed her, made her so sad that she turned him into a deer, and he was devoured by his own fucking hunting dogs. So how do we know that they're godlike creatures, the skinwalkers or Wendigos? If I were to encounter one, what do you think the strategy should be? Stay calm, try to actually keep the camera steady. Try to make sure it's not fucking someone just messing with me, But no one ever really knows ahead of time where I'm going to go, where I'm going to investigate. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's like, what would you do? It's asking what would you do if you ever got shot at or get in a fight. Like, how would you react? You don't know until it happens. But I'm definitely intrigued by skinwalkers, and I know that in my area there are many reports, and there's also reports of what we call a dog man. I don't know why. I don't know why you just call it a fucking werewolf. As recent as 2023, not far from where I live, we have that crazy rare full moon coming up, and that's going to be an investigation right there. Look for Dogman. Not the kids' comic book. Those are actually funny. But an actual werewolf, dude. And I told Rebel about it, and he's like, yeah, let's go. I want to get bit by it. Like, bro, it's not the movie fucking Underworld where you become a lichen. We don't know what happens. It's not even proven that they're real. Anyway, I think I've chewed your all's ears off a little too much. But keep in mind, if you're out, especially in the northern parts of the country, or let's say in the desert down south, and you hear something crying out, for all you good Samaritans, if it sounds like it's a woman in distress, but you can't get close to it, or you can't quite see it, or you see a figure, but it sounds like a woman, or something, a kid, or I don't know, somebody that needs help, think twice before just running out there. because also the safe thing to do is call authorities, and they come out there, and then they can be like, what the fuck? Because I don't know if you've seen some of those YouTube videos of police officers reporting to scenes and having paranormal encounters, and it's crazy because they can't even explain it, and they're like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? You know? So just keep that in mind. Sometimes being a good Samaritan can get you in a lot of trouble. If you're out there investigating the paranormal, always be safe. Don't be a dumbass like I was the other day and go hiking in 95-degree weather and run out of water and almost die. It's not worth it. Plan ahead. I did ask somebody, and he gave me some great advice. But I think I want to do a how-to video on how I would approach investigating a situation, right? So when I do the cemeteries and stuff, I just go in there and I don't know what I'm doing, dude. I just go looking and find something cool. But and I do have a lead on from a family that is struggling with paranormal activity, and one of them is a strong believer in the paranormal and the other is not. But she acknowledges that something is happening. So that might be an opportunity coming up. We're going to work it out, but I need to figure out what's going on in their house, because they're experiencing feeling a presence, shadow figures, and light bursts, disembodied voices. So they're hearing stuff that, they're hearing voices from people that isn't in their house at that time or awake. So stay tuned for that. I'm working that one out, but it's going to be good. And Rebel will finally join me on that one. I think the next one I'm going to try to do a night investigation at a cemetery, a gold country cemetery, and figure out. I want to try to go to that one that has, animal paranormal activity and little children, which is fucking sad. But I got these cool things that they can try to make move or whatever, man. I don't know. So, thank you so much for watching this, listening to this, being a part of my crazy life. I appreciate all y'all, and those who subscribe, I hands down love y'all. And thank you for sharing, and keep blasting it out. Let's build a community, man, of people that are like-minded and open-minded. And none of the shit I was saying tonight about religion was meant to be offensive. It's all personal beliefs. So you can dog me for that or not, but I don't dog you for yours. So mutual respect is always appreciated. Anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you later on down the trail.